Looks like most of my parts are here now, so we're gonna go ahead and start working on this van. My wife has got the interior cleaned up already, and it is shiny clean like a new penny. So we're gonna get it into the shop, and I'm gonna booger up the floor, of course. And we got a bunch of work to do. Whew. She's been sitting waiting on parts. I had parts on back order for quite some time. So let's get this thing backed in there. First thing I want to do is get the front end up in the air, because we're going to change out the bushings for the twin I-beam suspension, where the ends of the I-beam mount to the frame. We're going to change them real quick. That's first and foremost. Then we're going to do radius arms. I guess all right. And then we got to put tires on it and all the filters and all that. All right, we need to check ball joints top and bottom at the same time as we're doing this. Go ahead. You know what we call that?
Broke. No.
J-U-N-K. So now we're turning this into a full front end rebuild. Wiggle it left and right now too. The tie rods are all tight. Okay, let's look at the other side now. We got some.
Okay.
Try going on the top here, or bottom and top.
Yes.
Yeah, push in at the top, pull out at the bottom. Yeah, wouldn't matter. I'm gonna do them all four anyways, which means I might as well go ahead and order up all new ball joints and shocks too, just to be safe. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and take all this apart, because I want to replace these radius arms because they're rusted heavily and I don't want them to be a problem. So I pulled the caliper off, and we're gonna clean everything up and put, lube on everything, and we want to make sure everything's good to go. And look, we're preventing, or what's the word, avoiding problems, fixing problems before they become a problem. This slide's stuck, so this would have been a locked up caliper here. So we're gonna get that taken care of. So we're gonna take that bracket off, and we'll take the rotor off. We'll take the bearings out and inspect them real good, and we're gonna clean and repack them. And we'll just take this whole I-beam out of here. We'll take the struts loose, take the sway bar loose, take the steering loose, just make it easy on us. It may be more work, but in the end, it's probably faster and easier. Top pin out. The locking cage bolt. Let's see just how tight they have this. Reasonable. Washer. Bearing. Want to inspect the bearing good. Boy, that wheel bearing grease is like new. This may have just been done. They look pretty good. We're still going to clean and repack. Alright, so sometimes if I know the inside race, or we're going to pull the bearings and all that stuff, I'll take the outer bearing and washer out, thread the nut back on, and then use that as a stopper to grab the bearing with and pop the seal out. So sometimes on these recessed seals, that's a little bit easier. You gotta be careful you're not doing it so much you destroy the bearing. We'll inspect it good, make sure it's okay. All that stuff will go in the soup, get cleaned up. Look at this sealing surface here as well. It's got plenty of grease on it. A lot of times if you lose a bearing on one of these, it can ruin the spindle. Sometimes the rotor can come down and grind into the sealing surface, and we want to make sure that's not the case here. Sometimes I'll just take emery cloth and just go over it and make sure it's okay. I don't know, I may may have these resurfaced. I don't know. It's been sitting a while. You can see where the brake pad sat on the rotor right there. That's what that is. I don't know. We'll see about machining them maybe. Next step, I've got the cotter pins out of this bottom nut, and I've got the steering tie rod off. So we're going to take this loose here, and then we'll take this pinch bolt loose here. This is our caster camber adjustment somewhat. This is offset, so you can turn this to change the wheel from sitting like this and setting from here back a little bit. So in order to align it, you'd have to use one of these that is not splined like this. You see how that is offset to one side? So this is a predetermined caster camber adjustment right there, locked in place like that, because that bolt comes through and stops this. It goes in that pinch right there. It can't turn. Next thing, I'm gonna pop this bottom ball joint loose, and I'm gonna thread the nut back on it just enough that I'm gonna smack it right here a bunch of times, and it'll shock this loose. This is a taper. That ball joint's tapered like this, so it gets wedged up inside of here, and then it tightens up, and then the ball actually sits still, and the joint pivots on the ball mount. So we have to hit this really hard a few times to get it loose, and it looks like this is the best access. Make sure our ABS wire's out of the way so I don't hit it. I'm not left-handed, so we'll see how it goes. Spindles off. Now, because we don't want to destroy this ABS connector, the ABS sensor, we could unbolt it right here, slide it out, or unbolt these two, whichever. But we're going to be pressing these out. Look how loose that is. Most of the time, if they move this much this way, they'll move up and down as well. See that? This one's still pretty tight for a factory. Oh, that one's been replaced. Why would they replace one and not the other? That's weird. Whatever. Now, because of what we're doing, what we're replacing, that bushing and the I-beam, and this radius arm here, we're going to take the stabilizer link loose here from the I-beam. There's a place for a wrench back here to hold it. We don't want that to spin inside there, because it'll just wear this out and it'll knock and make noise. So get a wrench on that, take that out, and then we have the shock to go, the spring mount up here, and the radius arm bolt back here. I need to get this bolt out, but in order to do that, this arm needs to come down far enough. So I took the shock loose right here, which is what limits this travel on this arm. The coil spring does too, but this limits it before the coil spring would. And then we just let this down. We got it on jack stands back here. So now I should be able to just tap that bolt out. And then this is the one to fall out of here. This is a retainer that holds the coil spring in that bucket so it can't pop out while the suspension's traveling. And then it's held in here by kind of a cone-shaped washer. We got this loose, and that's loose, so there shouldn't be much holding this, just the jack. Should want to swing out of there and fall down. It's going to get a little stuck in there. Right there. Yep. a little loud, probably. High beams out. Now we'll just clean some stuff up. Drag her out of there. Oh boy. Figured that bolt would be a little difficult. It's moving okay. Brass hammer. These are pretty rough looking.
Yeah, they're crusty.
I don't know if it's a question of if they're gonna fail or how soon, so we'll just go ahead and replace them too.
Those are pretty important. So.
Yeah. Yippers. So, brake hoses, shocks, wheel seals, ball joints. I think that's it. We got one slide on that side. That's stuff. We gotta do that. And then I gotta decide if I'm gonna machine these rotors, which I doubt it. Because the reality is we're not gonna use this van a whole lot, so they're gonna look like this in no time again. So there may be no sense in removing the material for nothing. Right?
Right.
So this slide obviously moves up and down just fine. This one is stuck. It is, will not move, won't twist, nothing. It is in there. So I need to get it loose. That definitely would have been a problem on the road, you know. So first thing I'm gonna do is soak it. Then I'm gonna try and shock it, maybe go down a little bit more. It's really about bottomed out if you see how these are made. You can see where the edge is here. You look at the two, it's got a little bit of more room, but not much. Try and clean the crud out here of around it where it meets. Let's see if we can get some penetrating oil down in there. Alright, we're going to start with the ball joints while that's soaking. First thing we got to do is get the snap ring off the bottom here. So what we're going to do is push this one out, and then that'll give us room to push this one out. I've done this for years with a hammer and you know, a punch or whatever just to knock this out, but I have bought a long time ago an OTC ball joint press, and if I have it, I'll use it. If I didn't, I'd do it the same way. I'd el manual labor. So I got this set up. So this cone is on the knuckle part. So this makes this give something to push against, right? And then this forcing screw is on the bottom of the ball joint. So that is pushing the ball joint while holding this. And this is big enough diameter that the ball joint will fit inside of it, the whole entire body. There's a hole in the end of this so that the ball joint can come out through. because it's going to be longer. Now, it sucks that I have to say this, but if you see me grab a tool like an impact or a hammer, the likeliness that the volume is going to get loud is pretty high. So for all the snowflakes out there that complain about how loud the hammering is or whatever, I don't know what to tell you, man. It's a shame common sense isn't so common anymore. If you see me grab this, it's going to get loud. If you see me grab this, it's going to get loud. I get so tired of guys complaining about that crap. I wish my life was so simple that all I had to complain about was volume on a video I was watching for free. Quit your whining. So tired of the snowflakes and that mentality, you know? Tell you what, I'll make it better. For all those guys that want to complain about the volume control, you are welcome to edit my videos for free, just like I do for you. If you buy this OTC kit, okay, you can get the instruction manual that tells you how to set it up. Or, again, you might subscribe to the old school common sense way of thinking and not need a manual for every single thing you do.
But if you're just starting out and you want to learn, yeah, there's nothing wrong with.
Well,
That's the.
I'm just cranky, so this is.
Yes, you are.
Well, I just, you know.
I know.
Okay, again, it's gonna get loud.
It's for.
You see how that popped there when I hit it with a hammer? So then you're not putting so much pressure and stress on your forcing screw, which will make this thing last longer. And I always grease this up with high pressure grease before we use it. And honestly, I don't care if they say to use an impact with this or not. I do, have since I bought it. Works just fine.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a post right here, so sorry about that.
Now, next thing I want to do is clean up the surface where that ball joint rests. Make sure there's no rust in here because it needs to sit in here level. Just like right in here. See, there's some rust buildup right in there. If I had a sandblasting cabinet, I'd just put this sucker in there. Blast it and paint it.
Well, one of these days, you'll get you one.
Yeah, right about the time I'm done.
Probably.
Alright, that's one out and apart. We don't have the new ball joints yet, but I just want to get these apart so we're ready. And I want to keep these separated. There's a left and a right on these. This is the passenger side. Just lay that. I took that ABS sensor out there so I wouldn't ruin it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, this is. I mean, some play this way doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, but the thing is, when you get play this much here, it typically means you have play this way. And seeing how we're doing the other side, and this had a little bit of play in it, we'll just replace them. Alright, so you can see this is probably the original one. It's pretty loose, and this is probably an original. They'll probably come out a little bit harder.
Did you say there was no grease fitting?
Yeah, there's no grease fitting on it. I don't know if I said it or not.
No, you didn't.
Or not.
Yeah.
Or it came off easier.
Yeah. You didn't even have to use the
Maybe
hammer.
the splines. Oh yeah, here. There's why. So here's the original, just a press fit with no splines. Here's the aftermarket with splines. Look at how much metal come off the edge of this when I pulled that out. Look at that silver. So, yeah. Yeah, this one's the one that's got the, you can hear it.
So for once, the aftermarket part actually looks better, beefier than the...
Well, they put the splines in probably because this was a press fit, so if they put splines in, if the hole is irregular or damaged, whatever, it has something to grab into.
Gotcha. Losing all your stuff. That one wasn't bad either.
We're on to the passenger side I-beam, and this bushing is bad. It has play in it, so we got to push it out. It's got some rust buildup around here. Try and take care of as much as you can so it presses out easier. So now we have to press. You see how this side's wider, it's got a flange on it. It's got to press this way. And you can see this is not pressed in all the way, so we have to be careful that we are mindful of how far this sticks out, which is like 3/16 of an inch between the two flanges, and maybe sticks out around 1/8 over on this side. Now this is a bushing with a sleeve in the middle, so if we just push on the center, we're probably going to end up pushing just the center out and not the whole bushing. Ideally, you want to push on this outside. I just use a socket the same diameter as that bushing, wherever the bushing got to. So these are made by Moog, and they don't have that step. And that step may have just been rust buildup. Sure don't feel like it. Feels like it's an actual step. Look how far this one is out compared to that one. Look the same. Okay. So now we have to push on this outside ridge. We can't push on the bushing because we'll destroy it. So we have to find something that's going to rest like that on this metal lip right there. And do that. I'll turn this around, make it easier. Compare the two. Looks about right. Okay, so I scraped this off. There's no ledge there, it's smooth. And there's, I don't know if that'll show up or not, but it's just a smooth barrel. So I measured that with a micrometer to see how close we were, just to make sure they're the same. And there is a 10,000th difference between this width right here. This is 10,000ths narrower than the factory. And this is a Moog bushing K6872. But I'm happy with where that's at, so we're going to leave it. We're going to go ahead and set this one back over and grab the other one, do it again. Put the other one in. So now we're waiting on ball joints for the spindles. So we're going to move forward to, I got grease on my glasses, great, which will be in my hair. We're going to move on to cleaning and repacking all the wheel bearings, inner and outers. I got new seals coming too. This is the inner bearing, the outer bearing, the washer. I don't reuse cotter pins, but there's the cage for the outside nut. There's the nut and the center cap. And I'll just clean everything, so when I go back together, it's all fresh and clean. There's no metal, no dirt, no debris. This is just mineral spirits. Alright, so bearings are all cleaned up. And I want to inspect them. I'm looking for any dull spots or any pitting. And I want to put a little pressure on the cage so that these rollers actually move, because otherwise they can just sit there and you won't see the whole thing. So you can move the inside and the roller itself will move, and you can check each one independently. I don't know if that'll show up on camera, but they're moving. I know it's a glare. But anyways, I'm going to check all the bearings the same way and look for any discoloration or dull or pitting or, you know, missing materials, and make sure the cage is still tight on here. I think this is pretty well cleaned up. This is one side all done. This I'll probably take to the wire wheel. There's some pretty hard grease on there. It doesn't want to come off. Some probably brake dust really is what some of this is. We'll get it cleaned up. So I need to get the mineral spirits out of here, because just as easily as it cleaned these bearings, it will, you know, obviously dilute or break down any new grease that we're going to put on. Oopsie. So I want to make sure each piece gets cleaned well before we repack them bearings. Where'd you go, little guy? Oh, there you are. Okay. Now, all those are ready to be packed, but I won't pack these until I'm ready to put them in, because I don't want to get a bunch of crud in the grease. So, before I take the oil filter off, I just take a screwdriver and poke a hole in the bottom of it. I let all the oil drain out of it first. That way we don't make a big mess, because when you go to crack it off like this, you know, it goes all over the place. This way at least it's a little controlled. Once it's done dripping, then we'll take it off. So there's always an argument of whether you should fill your oil filter or not. Whenever I can fill an oil filter, I certainly do. Well, I ordered a new air filter over there, but we don't need it right now. So I'm just going to put this one back in. I don't see any reason to not leave it in here. Do you?
No.
Yeah, I'm surprised. It's in really good shape. Well, I got that out. We'll go ahead and fill the oil back up then. Did you hose this out?
Yep.
Let's have some oil.
All right.
So my tires are just delivered for the van. I went with Toyo H08 Plus, and I chose these because I'm hoping these will do well with that I-beam suspension, and they had good ratings, and the load range on this tire was heavier than all the others. This one was 3,200 pounds or something, 3,197. And it's a load range E light truck tire, so we're going to put these on. We'll see how they do. Well, I'm as far as I can go until I get some more parts. And if you're wondering why we're going to this extent, I mean, other than this is typically how I do things, it's because I need to put that engine in the van and drive it across country to Oregon. Ben needs that for his rollback, and this is how I'm going to get it there. I chose this van for several reasons. One is the fact that our minivan is getting a lot of miles on it, and we need to replace it. We need something to travel back and forth to West Virginia. We got some projects planned there. We need to carry some tools and equipment, and I need more space and more capacity. So this was a logical choice as a cargo van. The reason I chose the Ford with the 4.6 was because this platform has been used ever since Ford came out with this thing. They've been used heavily in all the trades. Like when I was an electrician, everybody I knew ran one of these vans. Typically they were 3/4 tons or 1 tons. This one's a 1/2 ton. We chose a 1/2 ton because we could get the 4.6 engine. A 4.6 engine is extremely reliable. It's decent on fuel, but it is very underpowered. This is not a powerful van. This is not something you want to pull a big trailer with or load it down extremely heavy. For us, it suits fine because the GVW is low enough that I can put passenger car plates on it, and I don't have to put commercial plates on it, which is another, nice feature. So once we get some more parts, we'll come back to doing this. In the meantime, I'm working on the interior. I'm kind of making it like a sleeper because I'm going to be staying in this. I just ordered a refrigerator freezer combo that we're going to be putting in here, and I'll show you that here. It's going to be pretty cool. I want to be able to take enough food where I'm not forced to go buy food every single meal. You know, I don't mind once in a while, but I don't like fast food. So we'll bring you back once we're going. We're building kind of a sleeper in this thing, and thanks for watching. Once we get the rest of the parts, we'll get her back together.